Hello, welcome to the YouTube channel again. This is part 5, I believe, for the 4AGE rebuild. I'm just going to go a quick overview what I've done so far. So from part 1 to 4, I basically reassembled the short block. So this is the whole rotating assembly, the piston, the crankshaft, the rear main seal, the rear retaining seal. I also installed the oil pan here, which is the MRP baffle pan. I also installed a new oil pump that has the SQ Engineering pressure up kit, and the spring's located right here, that pressure up spring kit there. I also had installed a new brand new water pump here. These are both Aisin or Asin water pump brands and oil pump brand. So yeah, that's pretty much it so far. So it's basically the whole short block. And now I'm going to install the head on this video here. So a little interesting thing I wanted to note is that this is a 16 valve small port. So this is technically the newer 4AG motors, or the newer 4AGE head. The big port, they have bigger or wider intakes here. And that's how you can tell big port versus small port. So these small ports are a lot smaller, but supposedly I guess they're more efficient. But yeah, that's how you can kind of differentiate them. And also small ports, interestingly, they came with this extra drain on the head. The big ports, they did not have this. This would be all closed off. But with the big port, if you wanted to, you can definitely tap into this and have the machinist do it, so you can have an extra drain for the head. Because what I've noticed is with my big port motor, I don't have this extra drain, but I noticed racing and tracking it, oil tends to stay up here on the head for a fairly long time. It doesn't drain quick enough down to the block here. And what would happen is, like, my oil catch can would get pretty full or get filled up because there's so much oil up here, it's not draining enough that's going into the catch can. So we'll see how the small port does at the racetrack, but this is kind of nice to have if you're planning to race your car, track your motor a lot on these 4AGE motors. And also the newer blocks of the 4AGs have that port here too, where the head connects to this part here for the extra oil, the oil to drain faster. I shouldn't say extra oil, but just so that the oil in the head will drain faster down to the block, which you want. With the big port blocks, you don't actually have this tap, but the MRP does come with a drain here, or a tap here. So if you wanted to, you can technically have like a tap for the big port head and then drain it down here to straight to the block there, straight to the pan there. So you can definitely do that also if you have the older 4AGE blocks there. They also have, you know, taps down here too here, but I think this is for like the turbo if you wanted to do a turbo drain there. But yeah, that's with the MRP pan, but obviously you can also just use your stock pan, make a hole, tap into it, so where you can have a drain from the head going straight to the oil pan there. But yeah, that's just a little quick intro there. So yeah, let's get started. I'll start assembling or putting the head onto the block. First thing you want to do is definitely thread chase each of these holes here for the head bolts. It's highly recommended that you do that. I already did all of them. I didn't do this one yet, but I'm going to show y'all how I do it here. I have this tap die set here. I already did the measurements, and for the head bolts, it's an M6, or let's see here. If I can probably put in a light, you can probably see it better here. Let's see here. Looks like it's an M10 by 125. So it's an M10 by 125 there. So yeah, let me just double check that here. Yeah, M10 by 125. So that's what that thread chaser is basically, or tap set. And again, the tap set that I use is Harbor Freight Special tap die set. Definitely something you don't use often, but glad that you have. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up the camera here and show y'all how I thread chase these bolts, or this hole there basically there. So yeah, I think that's a good view for y'all here. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm just gonna move it a little bit closer there here too for you. Okay. Sweet. All right. So let's do it like that there here. Basically, technically the machine shop does clean the whole block and everything, but you always want to always make sure that it's 100% clean. So I am going to go ahead and just assemble my tap die here, and then insert it into the hole where the head bolt goes, and just thread it by hand, really just screw it by hand. And now you might feel some resistance, which you will, but you apply a little bit of force and it'll go through. So you just kind of keep on applying that same force to thread chase the block here. And the reason why it might be kind of hard sometimes is because, yeah, it's like this block's been sitting out probably for about like 2 months, and I've just been slowly assembling it, just taking my time just because of work and racing and other stuff. So yeah, and what happens is that while the block is sitting out here for some time, sometimes you can get rust or dirt inside the cast iron block, so especially in the threads. So I'm just thread chasing them just to kind of clean out the threads there, clean out the dirt or the small grime and stuff like that in it. So I kind of keep on turning and turning till I kind of hit a stop. Like, you'll feel it. It feels like you're hitting a wall. You apply the same amount of force turning the, I guess, the tap die, and then that same amount of force, it'll just stop. Like, you won't be able to move it at all. And I'll kind of show you. I know I'm kind of nearing the end just because I did this side here already, so I kind of can gauge just by looking at how deep the tap is, that I'm kind of near the end here, or near the bottom of the block here. And you don't have to really, I guess, worry about, hopefully, so far I haven't really worried about like messing up the threads or anything like that there. And you see I kind of like go back and forth too to kind of clean out the tap there too, so that it's a little bit easier for me to clean out the threads there. So I hit the bottom. I'm using like the same exact force, so you can tell like it stopped. It's even moving the block. So you know that you hit the bottom of the threads there. So basically you just do that again, just kind of twist it up, like turn it left and loose, and right again, just to make sure you're really cleaning out those threads there. And it definitely is cleaning it out pretty well here. So let's do that here. So I'm cleaning this out here. And you do this for every single, I guess, hole that you're threading into, or putting a nut to, or a bolt to. It's a good practice, not just necessary just for the head, but for anything else that you're doing, just to make sure it's 100% clean. Because when you torque it down and there's like gunk in here or some rust or whatever, you might mess up the torque specs because of that dirt. And you can kind of see here, it's a little bit dirty, oily-ish. That's just the oil is just because like I did test fit the head, like just put them in by hand, but I didn't torque them down or anything. But you can tell there's some grime in there. So that's why you always have to clean the thread. I'm just using a little brush here to clean out it, and I kind of do it away from the blocks at least. You know, I don't have to worry about having a small piece of metal going into the block here. Okay, so that's that. And then after you thread chase all of this bolts, you want to clean the mating surface here. So you want to clean that block here. So I'm going to get a piece of cleaner here, and then clean it up pretty well here. I use brake cleaner here too here. I know I've got some brake cleaner here. There we go. I'll go ahead and just clean this off ever so slightly here. So I'm just going to clean this up here. Kind of gentle with it, just kind of cleaning away from the cylinder walls. That's what I'm doing at least here. Brake cleaner works pretty well here. Okay. I'm just kind of cleaning away from the cylinder walls just so that, I think I get a piece of something that fell down here. Okay, sweet. Okay. Alright. I'm going to use a rag actually. This is kind of cutting up my paper rag, so definitely use a lint-free rag. I'm going to do that right now. This is kind of cutting it up, as you can see, so I'm gonna go just to be on the safe side, use a clean rag that I have here. Here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna use a nice, clean, lint-free rag here, just to make sure that, again, I'm using brake cleaner again. So, yeah. Alright. And again, I'm just cleaning away from the cylinder walls, just so that nothing gets in between the cylinder walls, nothing microscopic at least. Okay, just cleaning this all up here nice and good here. So hopefully you guys can see. Yep, you definitely guys can see here. So yeah, so this is all nice and clean. I use brake cleaner too to kind of clean up the gunk. And then I'm going to do the same for my head here too here. So I'm going to flip this head upside down here. I'm going to show y'all here too here how I do that here. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to move this camera here on this side here so you can kind of see better here. Okay, so there you go. Alright, so there's the head. And then I'll show y'all how I do it. It's my first time doing it, but I'm going to remove these cam covers here real quickly. Put this to the side here. And this is a I shouldn't say brand new head, but this is a head that I got from eBay, which was just a refurbished head here basically. And just kind of tighten up these caps a tiny bit just so that this won't fall out when I flip it. Because yeah, you don't want that. You don't want this to flip over or anything like that and lose all your valve springs and everything else here. But the reason why I did this is I bought a refurbished head is because I just didn't want to have the machine shop having to rebuild or redo my old head, because technically this is already done and it was actually a lot cheaper just buying a refurbished head versus going to the machine shop and just having them take my old head, putting new seals and everything else in it to freshen it up, and this was already all freshened up. So it was just down to cost really. But if you want to do it yourself, you definitely can. What I'm going to do here is just flip this upside down, or to the side here. We'll do it slowly so y'all can see here. Okay, so we're all good here. Okay, and I'm just going to clean. You can see how nice and clean the head is here too here. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean it up again here using brake cleaner and all that good stuff here. But yeah, I'm just cleaning off the mating surface here. I'll place it back down again here. But yeah, and then you're going to get your head gasket too, and do that here too also. So it's pretty much good there here, nice and clean. This looks really good, nice and new or refurbished basically, just rebuilt. It wasn't exactly a brand new head from Toyota, but still. I'll put this down here again here. And you notice how I put these engine hooks on here already? You want to do that because it's real easy to pick up the head with the engine hooks. If you pick it up on the sides and stuff, there's nothing really much to grab. I put this fuel rail here just to test some things, but I mean, technically the fuel rail, if you don't have a fuel rail or anything, you want to at least use the hooks to grab onto the head there. So next thing I'm going to do is get my head gasket here, and I'll show you what I'm using here. I'll try to do it with one hand, but so basically my head gasket is right here. It's this guy right here. I'll move this all to the side here too here, because this is all for the other stuff, for like the timing cover and all that good mess here. So I'll put that right here. And this is right here is actually the valve seals. So I'm gonna save these if I want to redo my old head or something, but these are the valve seals for here. So if you buy the whole engine gasket, you can technically, yeah, take your old head, give them these seals and the other stuff for the head so that the machine shop can replace them and, you know, make it brand new again. But yeah, it was just on eBay, and eBay was just a lot cheaper technically to deal with per se. So yeah, that's it there. I'm gonna go move the camera here instead here, just so that y'all can see it here again here. moments here. But yeah, this is the joys of filming live, you know. Hopefully y'all are watching me through the journey and everything else here, and maybe get inspired to do your own. So yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is what the head looks like. Technically, there isn't really an up or down. Even on the manual, it doesn't necessarily say that there's an up or down with the gaskets. So we'll just see how it goes. We'll just learn from it. So yeah, let me go ahead and move the camera again here to the motor now so y'all can see. Okay. Alright, so there we go. Right there. Okay, so let's just see here. I do know that it's kind of oriented this way, because if you do it this way, it doesn't really line up, right? So you just gotta do it like this. Thing is figuring out, is it this way or is it this way? And I don't think there is a difference per se. Let me just see here if there is. Actually, there is. Okay. Yeah, there is. Okay. It doesn't say on the, I guess, manual either, which is top or bottom, but I can give you a clue basically. So you want to make sure like these passages of the water passages and the holes all kind of line up here. And a telltale sign was this one here. So this one right here, you see there's a space here. So for both the cooling and I guess the oil here. And again, the water jackets here, and then same here too here, right? But if I flip it upside down or the other way, you can tell that, okay, so I have space here, right? But then technically here, it's kind of blocked off there. So I don't think that's right. And you can kind of see like some spots are just kind of like missing there. So just be aware, like this one lined up, but then you can tell like that side just didn't line up. So just be aware on how it goes. But technically this is like the water passages here from what I remember. And this hole right here is for the head bolt. But yeah, just to make sure, here we go. Here we go, okay. So it looks like everything lined up perfectly. There's no like holes here. There's still a hole right here though, surprisingly. I'm gonna have to check on that, but let's just see right now, just to make sure. But I believe this is it, just because the way this is oriented, and this is the way this is oriented too. So yeah, and then this one here too, you can tell that there's a space here for the water here. Yeah, so I don't think it goes this way. Nope, I don't think so. Doesn't seem right. So let's just double check here if there is a kind of a telltale sign here. Maybe this one here too, because you can tell like this one, like the way this gasket is extruding, this probably also shows you where the head goes maybe. Not really. You can't really tell. Yeah. Okay, well let's just see here on the computer here too here. Yeah, we're all learning right now. So installation of the cylinder head, apply adhesive, blah blah. Oh, that's for the small port, by the way. With big port you don't have to do that. And I did the engine hangers, install cylinder head. Okay, so it doesn't really show on the pictures exactly. It just says install 2 gaskets and strap the 2 bolts, blah blah. Install a cylinder head. Hint, the cylinder head bolts are tied in 3 progressive bolts, be careful. Okay, it doesn't really say to install the gaskets. It doesn't show how to install the gasket. Yeah, installation of cylinder head, that's funny. Oh, okay, it says it down here. If any bolt replacement, place the cylinder head with new cylinder head gasket on the cylinder block. Be careful, installation direction. Okay. Place the cylinder head in the position of the cylinder head gasket. Okay, it doesn't really say exactly the orientation of the gasket, but I can try looking at the pictures and not much. Like, okay, so obviously you can tell here, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like this little 2 marks right there, those 2 triangles. That represents the back side. I know because this is the end plate for the starter here. So this is the back side, and you have these two triangles. So that's how you know that's the back. So, all right, so you just kind of look at the installation video, I guess, the pictures and everything, and it kind of gives you a clue. So this is definitely it here. So this is the back part of the motor, and you have these two triangles here. So if you flip it upside down, see those two triangles? If you flip it the wrong way, it's blocked. You don't want to do that. Only like one hole here. I don't think that's right. You can tell here there's a couple, but it doesn't look like it's fitting right. Plus, including this thing, you can kind of tell, hey, that looks kind of off. So just to be on the safe side, I'm pretty sure, or 100% sure, you orient it where these two triangles are at to the back of the motor. So that's that there. So this is on there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and mat or put the cylinder head on top of this here. So I will do that right now. And you can also tell like there's these guide pins here, so you can align your cylinder head on here. I'm not installing the ARP bolts. I'm only going to use the factory Toyota head bolts. The only reason why I'm doing that is because I kind of messed up on my ARP bolts. Yeah, I know it's a bummer because they're kind of expensive, but I kind of messed up on it, so I don't want to risk running a partially or maybe potentially messed up head bolt because of my mistake. So thankfully I do have a spare head bolts for Toyota, or from Toyota. They're pretty cheap, honestly. So I'm just gonna align it here. Just take your time aligning it. It's gonna slide in through here, I think. Oh, there we go. Just make sure. Okay, there we go here. Okay. Oh. Let me do it again here. See, it's amateur hour. And I also kind of lost my footing and bearing here. Okay, there we go here. So I'm gonna go again. I line it up with these two dowel pins right here to the head. That's why it's amateur hour. We're all learning. But, you know, you gain a new skill set, so, yeah. Okay, so, this came off again. Man, okay. Let's try this one more time. Okay. Sand, just be nice and easy and gentle on it. Don't rush it. And I think you'll get there. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to move it here. I think there's a dowel right there. That went in nicely. Okay. Alright, so they all went in nicely. Just kind of one nice swoop here. So yeah, it went in nicely. Head's not moving. It's moving with the block, but it's not moving at all. The dowel pins kind of kept it in place. So yeah, that was that. Nice one big swoop in the head. It is kind of heavy. It's like 50 plus pounds. So let me go ahead and just move the camera over here on this position now. So at least you can kind of see better now how it looks like here. Alright, so technically, since it's a refurbished head, it came with the cams and everything else. Typically, you want to remove these here first when you install the head, but you know, just trying to be quick and kind of show you quickly. But I'll show you how to disassemble the camshafts. It's pretty easy here. I'm gonna go ahead and do this angle here so y'all can see. And yeah, it looks like it's sitting in nicely. The gasket's not off or anything. It's pretty good there. So I'm gonna set the camera here again here for y'all, and then set up my deal here too. So I'm just moving the camera here. Okay, yeah, I'm just adjusting it. I'll put it in frame here shortly. I don't have any assistance or anything. It's just me and no one else. But I do like doing this just because you save money and you learn a new skill, you know? So yeah, I know I don't get a lot of views on this, maybe like 10, 20 views of me assembling the motor, but I also do it for myself too. Basically, when you remove these cam gears or camshaft, you want to start from outside to inside, and these are all already loose by hand. So, but what you want to do if it's already tight, like to spec, you want to like slowly loosen one side, like one, and then just slowly loosen it by these steps from going outside to inside, and then start again from outside to inside to loosen them until you're able to remove them by hand, and then that's it. So, and you want to keep the pressure uniform. So, yeah. And I'll show you all the orientation of these caps and everything. It's pretty easy, but it's easy to overlook too. So, just FYI. I'm just gonna put these in my little stand here. So yeah, put that right there. So I'm removing the exhaust side first, and I noticed the exhaust side because of this cam gear, or the gear for the distributor. Now I've seen people, I guess on the 4AG forums, I guess put the exhaust side on there too, and I honestly am not so sure why. I'm guessing because of bigger lifts or longer lifts or duration, whatever. But is there really power gain? I don't think so, in my opinion. But I guess, just to be kind of different, maybe. But yeah, if you wanted power gains, I definitely say get HKS cams or Tomei cams or something aftermarket that's actually R&D'd and developed for more gains. I don't think, I've seen people also, I guess in the forums, they say big port cams are more aggressive than the small port cams. And I'm not disagreeing with them or anything, but how much aggressive is it? Is it worth getting big port cams and putting on your stockish 4AG? To me, I don't think so. But, if you want to do it, then just do it. So that's how you remove the cam gear, or camshaft, I mean. So I'm just setting this up on the side here. And this is just stock Toyota cams. These aren't even aftermarket cams, honestly. So yeah, just making sure these are all hand tight. Again, when you loosen them, you want to start from outside to inside in sequence. So loosen a little bit, loosen a little bit, loosen a little bit, loosen a little bit. And then go back again, loosen a little bit, loosen a little bit, loosen a little bit, to the point it's just loose by hand. And then you can start removing the caps off the camshaft. The reason why is because all of this is under pressure, and last thing you want to do is, if you don't loosen up in the correct sequence, you can probably bend your camshaft or maybe ruin your head too, and that's not good. And I've done that when I had a Honda Civic, when I had no idea what the hell I was doing, and I ended up stripping the block for the head, or the head bolts. The head bolts, I didn't do the sequence right, and I ended up stripping my block itself because it's an aluminum block, and yeah, I ended up having to buy a whole new used single jingle D16 motor. And thankfully at the time it was just only $500 because to rebuild the motor and put a helix coil and all that good mess was going to be a lot more expensive. So I was like, fuck it, let me just get a used D16 single jingle, call it a day, and then yeah, and I got a brand new, or technically a working motor for $500. But that, at the time there, so yeah. Alright, so that's how you remove the camshafts. And let me show you how it looks like over here now. So technically when you put the head, it should be like this onto here, but I was just being lazy. So they have these holes here now where you can actually put the cylinder head bolts on here. So I'm gonna show you all a key note here too with this. So I'll put this right here instead here. Okay, so this right here are the bolts, the head bolts. This is, if you want to pause it, that's the part number here, all that good stuff there. Also, this is the part number here too for the head bolt here too. So that's the part number. So you need to get this part number, 5 of these. You also need to get this number here, 5 of these here too here. Because they are different in size and length more specifically. The shorter bolts goes on the intake side. The longer bolts go to the exhaust side. So make note of that. And you also have washers here. I'm gonna be using or reusing my old washers on the head just because they're not torque to yield washers. These are torque to yield. So what that means is that you're gonna stretch these bolts, and I'll show you how to do that. But when you have torque to yield bolts, when you stretch them, they're technically one-time use. So if you have to reassemble or remove the head again, you cannot reuse the head bolts. And these are my old head bolts too. And I did the measurements, and technically they are the same size, but you're not supposed to use torque to yield bolts. That's what I've been told, and that's what I've been doing. So I'm not gonna, take that risk of ruining the motor because I reused head bolts. So, and these are fairly cheap still, so it wasn't too expensive. These are way cheaper than the ARP head bolts by far. So luckily I carried spares with me. I also have spares for this if I rebuild my motor and all that good mess. So yeah, I'm gonna show y'all how to do that part here, and I'm gonna use my deal here, but I'm gonna show y'all how it's done. So once you put the head on here, this is the sequence now. So when you tighten, you have to go from center to outside basically. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm gonna follow this sequence here so I don't get too confused, but it's like basically like bam, 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 bam. Oh, it's like, how does it go? Bam, 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 and then bam, 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 bam. So yeah, just definitely follow the sequence. This is how, if you don't follow it, that's how you will, ruin your motor, and you might actually have to buy a new one or have to take it to the machine shop for a very expensive repair. So it says tighten the cylinder head bolts in 3 progressive steps. If any bolts break or deframe, okay, replace them. Hopefully it doesn't. And then it says apply light coating of engine oil on the bolt threads under the head bolt before installing, which I'll do. And then yeah, put the shorter bolts on the intake side, which is letter A, the longer bolts, letter B, on the exhaust side. And then you're gonna torque each bolt to 22 foot-pounds here, look like. So I'm gonna torque them to 20 foot-pounds here, and then take it from there. So that's pretty low torque settings, because I think with ARP it's like 80 foot-pounds or 60 foot-pounds. So it's a lot lower torque setting, but we're not here to make a lot of horsepower. We're here for reliability. So I do believe Toyota OEM Toyota parts for a fairly stock 4AGE will be enough for racing. It's been so far for me. The reason why I blew up, like I said, was oil starvation, not heating issues and all that good mess. So I'm gonna do that right now here. Set that up here. So yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna move this over here, and I'm just gonna put these bolts by hand. So I'm gonna install the shorter bolts on the intake side, which I'm gonna do right now, and then show y'all how it's done. And I'm also putting the washer on here too, because it says to put the washer in. So yeah, definitely do that. I'm just reading something here. Alright, cool. So everything's all good. Sweet. Alright, pretty good. I always double check just because you don't want to mess up here. So I'm gonna put the shorter bolts on the intake side. I'm gonna use a light coating of engine oil. Hopefully you guys can see, right? Can you guys see? Yeah. Okay, cool. Let me kind of make it better for you, hopefully. Or not, I don't know. I guess that's good. Oh well, okay. So it's 5 on this side, 5 on this side. Again, the shorter bolts go inside here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that here for you here. Okay, so I'm gonna just apply a light coating of engine oil here on the shorter bolts. Just like that there here. Just drop it down with my washer. And I think it's a 10 point multi-socket here. So I'm just gonna get that 10 point multi-socket here. There's a 10 millimeter, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it a 12? Let's just see here. Is it a 12 or 10? Oh no, it's a 10. Okay. So let me get that going here. Do I have a 10 though? That's what sucks. I don't even know. Uh-oh. I hope I do. Damn, I don't think I have a 10 multi-point. Ah. Oh my goodness. Let's just see here. I'm just double checking my toolbox. Oh shit, I don't think I do. Do I have a 10 here? How did I remove this thing? Oh no. Hopefully I have a 10 here somewhere. Here, do I have a 10? Nope. Oh man. I don't think I have a 10 point. Oh no. Let's see here. 11, 12. Oh shoot. Nope. Do not have a 10. Oh no. But I have this though. Yes. Ah! Okay. Ooh, but will this fit? That's the problem. I don't think this will fit though. Uh-oh. Yep, does not fit. It's too big. Oh man. Okay. I don't think I have a 10 point multi-socket. I think I might have lost it. Uh-oh. Oh no. I wonder how I did it then. Because I thought I had a 10 point. I guess I don't. Oh no. Oh man. This is such a bummer. Yeah, I don't have a 10 point for some weird reason. Ah. No. Somehow, I don't have a 10 mil multi-point. It's kind of funny how, you know, people lose their 10 point multi-point socket. Let me just see here. I'll just cut to break. I'll just splice it in. Okay, so let me just go here and just talk. Alright, so I don't have my 10 multi-point socket. I'm gonna have to find it. So I'm gonna pause it here. I'm gonna end the video. I'll come right back. But basically, this is what the head looks like. You just have to put the thread in, the head bolt in there, and that's it. So yeah, I guess this will be, the next part would be like part 5.5 because I don't have a 10 millimeter multi-point. So I'm gonna have to find that. I'll be back. Alright, bye. Okay, good news. I found a 10 millimeter multi-point socket. It was in my other, I guess, Milwaukee bag. So yeah, on to putting the head. So right now I put the head in. I'm just putting the cylinder head bolts on here, and like I said, the shorter cylinder head bolts go here. The longer cylinder head bolts go in here on the exhaust side. So intake side, exhaust side. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that here. Set this up here, and what I'm going to do here is just apply a light coat of engine oil on the threads first, and then do that there here. So I'm doing that right now here, just a light coat of engine oil here. Just kind of just loop it up there really good there here, and then I'm just gonna just drop them in here. Okay. Drop it in there here. And this is kind of a little bit tight on some of these guys here, but it works. It's just hella tight clearance, so I'm just throwing this by hand here first, just kind of doing that, and then I'll torque them down in a sequence here. Just always make sure that you're using the right, I guess, length bolts here, so just be aware of how you when you use it here. So yeah, and I notice sometimes these bolts, these washers are kind of hard to put in here, so I kind of put the washer in first and then line it up to the hole here, and I just dropped the head or cylinder head bolt on here. So you just kind of have to finagle it a tiny bit because the washer and bolts doesn't kind of go in together all at once. You have to kind of drop the washer in first and then put the bolt in afterwards on some of these tight spaces on the head there. Here, hopefully you guys can see my process there. So yep, got 2 more bolts on the intake side, and then yeah, then we'll go on to the other side here for the exhaust side here. So again, I dropped the bolt there a tiny bit, or the washer here first, and then I kind of use the head bolt to kind of guide the washer in the hole, and it goes in like that there basically. So yep, and these are brand new head bolts. I'm reusing my old washers, but it just basically is supposed to seat into the head like that there basically. But yeah, just going to clean this off here, or not clean it off, but put oil on here. Just a nice coating of oil on here, and put that one in, thread it by hand. And then we're going to do the other side here next, onto this side. Just make sure it all threads in nicely by hand here. Okay. And then now to the longer head bolts. Again, just do that here. So here we go. Just a nice coating of engine oil here too, along with the bolt here. Okay, so again, like I said, you kind of have to kind of guide the bolt, the washer in first, then the bolt. Okay, just tighten up by hand there. There we go. Always do it by hand. This is not the time to use power tools to tighten things up. Last thing you want to do is mess it up. But I'm guessing in the factory though, when they built these motors, they did probably use power tools for it, you know? That's what my guess is, my hunch. Just to be efficient here. Okay. We'll put this one in here first on this side here too. Okay. Just kind of thread this by hand. Remember, righty tighty, lefty loosey. So yep. But after you install the head, pretty much all the stuff that you kind of need for the motor to run, all the parts basically for the motor to run is there already, you know. So that's a plus, right? Okay, here, let's put this right here. And I do love how Toyotas, at least the old Toyotas, I don't know, but new Toyotas, how these motors, you don't really need special tools, you know. You can just get yourself like a 150-piece Craftsman set, basically, and a decent torque wrench, and yeah, you can disassemble or assemble a motor, at least a 4AGE Toyota motor here on the spot. So yeah, that's pretty cool in my opinion. So yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and keep my old bolts here too, the old head bolts, just so I can have reference too. But yeah, whenever you put your head back on your cylinder head, you don't want to reuse cylinder head bolts. I've always just been told you don't want to do that. You want to get new ones, and then yeah. Alright, so that's that there. I'm gonna go ahead and just tighten this up by hand here first, like just with the torque wrench, with the wrench here, and bam, bam. So 1, 2. Let's just see here. I'm gonna see this torque sequence again here, just so I can see here. 1, 2, and 3. So it's, I'm gonna put probably the deal over here, so it might be easier. Thankfully, I have my portable battery with me, so I don't have to worry about that here. Put this up right here, and hopefully my battery doesn't die here for us here. But yeah, I'm just gonna put this battery or the computer right there here, so at least I know which side I'm doing basically. Alright, so I start from the middle here. Move this into the side here. Okay, maybe I can put this on top here like this. Oh, whoops. Whoopsie daisy. Did it just die? Okay, woo. Okay, woo. Okay, cool. I have battery and everything else here. Sweet. Alright, so it's a lot closer to me, so now I know what I'm doing. Okay, sweet. So basically, intake side, so 1, 2 on this side here, so that's 2. Intake side and exhaust side on the back here, so 3. Let's make this nice and tight here. It's just hand tight, 3. And then 4 back on the exhaust side here, so 4. And then intake side here, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 4. And then 5 here on this side here, on the intake side again, the back part. And 5, and then 6 over here. 6, and then where's 7 at? So 6, and then 7 in the back here. 6, 7. So 7, and then 8 onto the other side here. So 8. 8. 8. Let me just adjust this here too here because it seems like okay. Alright, cool. So 8. I'm just gonna oops, what the hell happened here? Okay, here we go. So 8. And then 9 in the back here. Okay. 9. And then 10 at the very front here too here. Okay. Okay, so that's that. Now it says, okay, first you can start him. The sequence shown and torque to 22 foot-pound here. So not a whole lot honestly, but I'm just gonna do it again here. So let's see here. So 1, 2, after 2, then 3 over here in the back, and then where's 4 at? 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. 4, and then 5, and then 6, 6, and then 7 in the back here, 7, and then 8, and then 9, 9, and then 10 up here. So, alright, so I'm going to torque this down to 22 foot-pounds it says. So I'm going to do that here right now. I'm going to get my Tecton torque wrench here. Alright, so I'm going to set this up to 22 foot-pounds here. Let's do 15 and then 22. How about that? I think that'll be better here. So 15 foot-pounds here first. We're going to do that first. Okay, so 1. So 1 here first in the middle. Okay. How should this go here? Alright, so that's 1. And then go up here, so 2. In the middle again. 2, and then 3, 1, 2, then 3 up here, 3, and you want to do one swoop, and then 4. Where's 4 at? So 4 over here next. 4. After 4, and then 5 on this side here next. 4, 5, and now 6 goes, so 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, whoops, 5 is in the back there. Damn it. Okay, do 5 down here. Oops, sorry. So let's retorque it again here. Let's been the safe side. Start all over again. God dang it. Okay, so 1, 2, 2, and then 3 goes in the back here. So 3, 3, and then 4 in the front here. So 4, 4, and then 5 in the back here. So 5, and then 6 in the front here on the exhaust side. 6 in the exhaust side, and then 7 in the exhaust side and the back part here too here. Alright, 7, and then 8 onto this side here next here. 8, and then 9 in the back here, and then 10 right here. Okay, so 10, and 22 foot-pounds here. We got 22 here, so 22 foot-pounds. Okay. Alright, so 22 foot-pounds here. That's a 40G here, 2 here. Yep. Alright, so 22 here. Foot-pounds here. Just double check here. Okay. Yep. Alright, so 22 foot-pounds here. 22 foot-pounds. Yep. Alright, so do it again. 22 foot-pounds here. So 1 on the exhaust side again. So start in the middle. This is 22 here. I guess if you go like this here. Oh, I can probably go like this here because I'm going. Oh, I can go like this here. So I can. So 22. I'm gonna just do like this here. It might be easier for me to torque it this way. So 22. The exhaust here. And the intake side for number 2 here. So number 2 here. Alright, so then 3 is 1, 2, 3 in the back intake side here also, so 3 goes right here. So 3, and then 4 is the front intake here, so 4 goes right here. So 4, and then 5 in the back intake here. So 5, and then 6 in the front exhaust here. 5, and 6, and 7 in the back part here. So 7 in the back part here. So 7 in the back exhaust. 8 is in the front intake. So 8 and then 9 is in the back intake here. Okay, and then 8, or sorry, and then 10, the front intake, or exhaust side, I mean. So that's it. Alright, so that's all good there. Alright, and then now, let's go down here just to see here. Mark the front of the cylinder head bolt with paint. So now you're gonna have to mark the front part of the cylinder head bolt with paint. So I'll show you. I have a paint pen. Basically, you want to mark the front sides facing this way because you're gonna ultimately rotate it 180 degrees. Hence the yield to torque bolts here. So that is that there for the torquing. So now I gotta do the yield to torque setting here. So yep, we will see here. Let's just see. I'm gonna use my paint pen. I'm just gonna mark the paint pen here with the front part of the bolts, and I'll show you how I do it here too here. Just gonna make sure it works. Okay, so that thing works. So you gotta have a paint pen to kind of know where you're going. So it's 90 degrees, right here, up here, up here. And you're doing the same sequence again here too here. Okay, there we go. There we go. There you go here. There you go here. And then there you go here. Okay, so sweet. Okay, so I got everything marked, and I'll show you everything here marked here too here on the GoPro here. All right, so this is it here. So you can tell that I marked the front part of the head bolt going forward, because basically what's going to happen is you're going to clock it 90 degrees and another 90 degrees. So hence yield to torque. So by the time this is done, this painted part should be facing the back part of the block. And these are stretching. You're basically stretching the bolts. So that's why they're yield to torque, because you are stretching them now. So what I'm going to use is a good old breaker bar and basically align it to where it's like 90, like right here. And then do another 90-degree turn like so here, okay? But what I'm going to do here is go like this here, like this. So when I move it this way to 90 degrees, it'll be 90. So let's do that here right now here. So it says, but I want to make sure again. So mark the front part of the cylinder head bolt with a paint pen. So I did that here. And then second, okay, retighten the 10 cylinder bolts using the 90-degree numerical order shown. Okay. Alright, so that's basically how you do it here. So what I'm going to do here again is copy the sequence again for tightening up the bolts here again. So you first start on 1 on the exhaust side. So 1 here, and I'm going to go like this here. So basically, if when I move this one 90 degrees like this, the bolts move 90 degrees too here. So here we go. So here we go, 1, 2, 3. So that's that there, 90 degrees. Oh, it's, there you go. Alrighty, 90 degrees there. And then again on this side here, 90 degrees again. Alright, here we go, 1, 2, 3. So 90 degrees. Alright, so 90 degrees, so that's 2, and then 3, the very back exhaust side. So right here is the exhaust side here. There you go, 90 degrees, there you go. Alright, so that's 3. Now 4 is the front intake side, so front intake side 4 here, 90 degrees. And you kind of want to do it in one swoop here too. You don't want to be like slowly turning it in. Nope. So then 5. It gets a lot easier once you kind of get the hang of it, I guess. So 5. Go like that there. So 5. And then 6 will be at the top here. So 6. Okay. And 6. And then 7 is in the back here. So 7. on this side here too here. So we go 90 degrees. Okay. So 7 and 8, 90 degrees here too. All right. So 8 and then 9 up here, 90 degrees. Okay. I'm using the engine stand too to kind of hold my footing down here so that motor doesn't move, because the motor will move if you don't put foot placement on there. And then 10. So again, just want to position yourself where the motor doesn't move. So I put like my foot on the engine stand here so it doesn't move anywhere, and then just crank it to 90 degrees here. Okay. All right, so everything's 90 degrees. And then you do that whole sequence again here. So all the paint markings is basically facing towards this side now. And now I gotta turn it 90 degrees this way so the paint markings go in the back, facing the back. So you do this again. And you copy that torque sequence again where it's 1 in the middle on the exhaust side. So again, I'm gonna position it this way again, and then I just turn it 90 degrees again this way to turn it. So here we go, 1, 2, 3, 90 degrees. Let's see here. Oh, no, hold on here. It's kind of loose. All right, cool. All right, here we go. Oops. Just adjusting myself here. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 90 degrees. Okay. All right, 90 degrees there. And then do it again. So 2. Okay, 90 degrees. Okay. It gets harder too, so just FYI. You want to be smooth about it. And then 90 degrees here too again. Put your foot on the engine stand because you're going to need to. So 3 and 4 over here on this side here. Okay. 4, 90 degrees, 4, and then 5 is back here on the intake side here. Okay, there you go, so 5, and then 6 on the top exhaust side here, so 6 back here. Okay, so 6, and then 7 in the back here. Okay, so 7, and then 8 right here. All right, that's 8, and then 9 in the back here, 2 here. All right. All right, so 9 and then 10 right here. So that's it there. So sweet. Pretty much that's the head there. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. All right. So I'll show y'all. Everything is all marked up nicely, and everything's pointing to the right, to the back side now. So that is yield to torque. You're basically torquing it, then you're stretching it. So that's why they are, hence, one-time use only. Once you stretch them out, that's it. Oops, let me turn on the light here too here. Okay. All right, so this is what it looks like here. Basically, the exhaust side, you can tell that the painted markings are now facing in the back side. So that's it there. So that is how you install the head, just this part, to the block. Next video, I'll show you how to install the camshafts here, which would be pretty hella easy. That's what you gotta do next here, and then do that. So yeah. So roughly it took me about an hour-ish to install this part of the head. I'll splice the two videos together. Make sure you have that 10mm multi-point socket. If you don't have that, go get yourself one. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I will see y'all next time, hopefully in the races or at the track. All right, bye.